Hey guys, this is Dan from EDM Academy, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to work with audio and MIDI clips inside of Ableton Live 9. Knowing your way around the audio and MIDI clip view is the first step to composing songs inside of Ableton, so let's get started. First, let's work with some audio clips. If you are unfamiliar with the basic interface of the clip view, I recommend watching our Ableton interface overview before continuing with this video. So the first thing you're going to want to learn about audio clips is how to use warping. Warping is Ableton's way of modifying a clip's speed or rhythm and is a great way to get all of your clips to work together. Ableton uses what are called warp markers in order to group chunks of audio together so that they can be stretched or condensed. To create a warp marker, mouse over the region just above the clip view and double-click. To delete a warp marker, simply double-click on it again. After creating a warp marker, you can use it to stretch the audio segment it controls. Before adding warp markers, you can change a clip's source tempo by selecting its initial warp marker and then dragging the BPM setting upwards or downwards. Ableton will try to analyze a clip's tempo automatically, but in the event that it's incorrect, you can use this method to get your clip back in time with the rest of your song. Here's a practical example of using warp markers. Here we have a bass loop alongside a few percussion loops. It sounds pretty good, but what if I want to change the timing of a few notes? This is where warp markers come into play. So I'm going to jump right into the clip, and I'll want to set up warp markers at the beginning of each note. The fastest way to do this is to highlight the range of audio I'm working with, right-clicking, and selecting Insert Warp Markers. Next, I'll just need to listen to make sure each warp marker is at the beginning of a note. Perfect. Now I can drag the notes around to change the rhythm. Now here's the before and after. You may notice now that a couple notes sound a bit weird, and that's because of the current warping mode. It's set to beats, which is typically used for drum loops. For a smoother sound, we can set the warp mode to Complex Pro. Different audio types will work better with other warp modes. If your audio doesn't sound quite right when warping, try using other modes. If none of the modes suit your audio, then you may be warping too extremely. Let's take a look at a percussion loop in the beats warping mode. By changing the transient envelope at the bottom of the sample box, we can shorten the decay of the percussion. Next, by changing the preserve mode, we can add an emphasis to certain beats. The loop mode controls how each warp segment behaves in the space between markers. For example, in the forward setting, each warped segment will play and then loop forwards until the next segment. In the back and forth setting, each warped segment will play and then loop both backwards and forwards until the next segment. Transient markers are shown by the small arrow icons above the clip view. These are read by Ableton to be the beginning of each note or percussive hit, and is used in the Preserve Transient setting in the Beats warping mode. Transient markers can be created and deleted in the right-click menu. Now let's look at some of the things you can do with clips inside of the arrangement. You can split a clip by clicking anywhere in the clip and pressing Ctrl Command and E. You can stitch a clip back together or combine two clips by selecting them and pressing Ctrl Command and J. To apply a fade to the beginning or end of your clips, right-click on the track lane and select Show Fades. Now, you can click and drag on the circular handles to fade your clips in or out. By placing two clips side by side, you can use this view to apply a crossfade between clips. If you'd like Ableton to create short fades in the beginning and end of each clip as it enters the arrangement, go to Options, Preferences, and click the Record, Warp, Launch tab. You can turn auto fades on or off by selecting the Create Fades on Clip Edges feature. In this menu, you can also change a few warping options. In the event that you would like to keep a track turned on, but mute only a single clip inside of it, you can deactivate clips by selecting them and pressing the 0 key. Lastly, you can convert an audio clip into a MIDI clip by right-clicking and selecting Slice to New MIDI Track. This option will create a new MIDI track and slice your audio piece by piece into MIDI notes on a piano roll. You can choose to create the slices out of transients and warp markers, or to create a new slice for every certain number of beats. After the processing is done, your audio clip is now fully MIDI compatible inside of the newly created track. You can rearrange the clip by moving notes, or you can delete the notes and use the created drum rack to play your audio clip piece by piece on a MIDI controller. On that note, let's switch gears, and in the next video, we'll take a look at what we can do with MIDI clips.